Craig, do you do any exercise routine at all?
I do. For the last while, it's only been like a strength and conditioning program, a gymnastics strength and conditioning program with some weightlifting. Yeah, essentially designed by Coach Christopher Summers. He was a USA national gymnastics coach for 20 years, youth conditioning coach. So I'm following his program.
Okay, that's perfect. And the reason I ask is because I can already see that your core structure is quite strong. That's it. Let the knees rest open. And that makes a difference on how the tremor mechanism can or can't move through the body. Okay, Craig, don't close your knees, but put a little bit of pressure on your inner thighs as though you were going to close them. Right there. There you go. See that? Finally let go. Now, see, there's an important thing. This is the speed of the body. And they went right into your pelvis.
My knees naturally started coming closer to one another. That hinted at an intensity I haven't experienced in a tremor for a while. Like it wasn't bigger than anything I'm used to, just a different depth to it.
Okay, good. Now turn the bottoms of your feet so they're flat on the floor. Move them about 3 inches apart from each other.
Wow.
And is this how
Mildly.
you normally tremor?
No. Like I said, it feels like it's coming from deeper, like it's stronger. Like what I've been experiencing has been more superficial. I have a chronic tightness in my left hip, what
Okay.
feels like psoas.
Okay, so when I see there's a hip issue, one of the ways I've discovered to try to help the hip release. It's often helpful to segment the body into two sides. So what I'm going to have you do is slide your right leg flat onto the floor.
But I haven't done it myself yet.
Well, good. Here's your opportunity.
I feel like a definite right shoulder sling
So
once
we've
to
straightened
closer.
the fascia pattern on the right side of your body, okay? So we've stretched it out. And we're using the tremor mechanism on the left leg to try to help facilitate the release. All right, so we're going to try another trick though. you're going to take your right knee and bend it like just an inch and then drop it. That's way too much. Just a little bit. Bend it up and drop it. That's it. And do that 10 times.
Am I doing it at a decent pace okay? Or?
You're doing fine.
Sometimes it feels like it's not ready yet to let me lift
your
it.
body's funny. It's reacting to it. There you go. It's starting to release.
So can you explain, maybe, what's
Yeah,
happening with me dropping the knee?
right. Well, what I discovered by watching the body is that it often makes that knee movement sort of in a jerky way. And that's the quadricep muscles that would make that move. And what I discovered is the quadricep muscles on so many people are so tight that if you make the movement artificially, the body then can begin to release its own quadricep muscles, just like it's doing now. Feel that?
That's each time I dropped my knee, I was wondering if I was actually slapping it into the ground by accident.
Well, dropping the knee, I discovered, is really important because we're looking for an impulse movement and not a controlled movement from the cortex. So when you let it go, it's more of an impulse reflex in the body rather than something you're controlling. And see, this is going right down to your foot. Good. So this has kind of played itself out. You can see that now it's sort of stopped a little bit. So that tells me, okay, it went pretty far. And so now we're going to try something else. So bring your right knee up. We'll let them tremor together for a minute. Open your knee slightly wider than that. Oh, it's great. See, when I see that hip movement, it's telling me that the muscles inside are starting to release. Feel that? Bring your feet a little closer to your pelvic floor. That's it. Now slide your left leg down. Take a deep breath, Craig.
Yeah, less tight than my left hip. I wasn't expecting it to move as much as my left hip because of how much more relaxed it felt.
Okay, so you're going to do the same movement with your left knee that you did with your right.
That's so fascinating. Like there, I get a little bit of that feeling with my left shoulder, that diagonal sling across the front of my body that I immediately felt on the other side. feel a bit more like a worm now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's starting to wiggle up your body. Okay, so you can see the same thing. It kind of stopped. It's worked out a pattern so something else can happen. So bring your left knee up. I see your hips were moving left to right, so they're moving to side. So I want you to gently roll your knees over to the left and now over to the right. That's it. And you do that 10 times. Because we're trying to follow the body. It's showing us what it's trying to do. And when we see what it tries to do, we simply try to enhance that possibility by making the movement artificially to see if that stimulates a reflex response in the body with the tremor mechanism. That's enough. Let your knees open a little bit more because we just saw that your legs started to respond. So that means that's all it needed. There, see that deep hip movement it's making?
Yeah.
So now that we've loosened up the hips, we want to work with the shoulders a bit because I can see it starting to come up to your shoulders. So the way to work with the shoulders is a little bit how you worked with your quadricep muscles. You're going to pull your shoulders forward towards the middle of your chest and drop them. And do that 10 times and make sure you drop them. Okay, that's enough because now they can do it by themselves. So we'll see what they do here. There you go. Good job.
Oh, my left shoulder's in need of some
Well, it's in
loving
relation
care right now.
to tightness in the left hip that you talked about, or the left psoas.
Yes, it was the left psoas, but my left shoulder's just been talking to me over the last 2 weeks. It's making me wonder if I've uncovered an old injury. I fractured my left clavicle in 2 places and had it fixated and then the plates removed about 14 years ago. I think like uncovering some old scar tissues and stuckness, and it's just been a bit sensitive the last 2 weeks. I think everything wants to have a go now.
Yeah, it's perfect. It's all trying to figure out how to put itself back together after you beat it up. There's that spontaneous rocking that we did earlier. So that's helping your hips release themselves. And this is in your lumbar spine too. So it's actually loosening the spinal column.
So that feels a bit high up, or like this top of my psoas, like abdominal almost on the right a bit, just sharing the feeling.
Okay, now that we've seen it go up to your shoulders, we're going to try to get it to come out your arms. So one of the ways we can do that is if you make a fist with your hands really tight, squeeze them tight into a fist, and then extend them very wide open. Very wide, that's it. And then do that 10 times. What did that feel like when it came up to your shoulders?
Very liberating, very, like I shouted and released, yeah, like a big sigh. Okay, yeah, like a quick sprint. My whole body feels very much more loose than it was. Very relaxed through my chest and arms. And yeah, movement in my hips and legs definitely feel like they're, it's almost like have a freedom of movement. It's not tension which is driving them to move, or restlessness. It's more, yeah, flowing. That's the sensation.
Okay, do you feel like you're finished?
Yeah, I think I could be.
Go ahead, slide your legs down flat. And just relax. There could be some residual movement. And then when you feel ready, roll to your side and come into a sitting position. Okay, so why don't you tell us what that was like?
Wow. Really good fun. Wow, it's, I think the whole experience to me is like that massive exhale. It's just like sinking into a hot bath. Obviously, I'm summarizing from start to finish. That's what it kind of the overview looks like. The beginning felt wild, to experience some of those deep, strong tremors, which I don't think I have for at least a year, on my own tremoring. So that was powerful to experience that again, and the strength and the intelligence of that completely autonomous force, energy through the body. Beautiful to see it and to experience it really unlocking as you guided it, and as my body allowed it to move from one segment or one section to another, and then integrate more parts together. And like I was describing at the beginning, so much tightness felt like it was causing the movement, whereas the end, it just felt like freedom of movement. That's what it felt like. So beautiful experience.
Why would you suggest this is helpful for people of your age?
For me, I think one of the biggest selling points at the moment is just, I feel like very few people have the ability to discharge any tension. We don't know how to deliberately relax anymore. We don't know how to bring the nervous system right down into a deep state of what we call parasympathetic nervous, parasympathetic activity. Just being, I mean, so many people can't sleep at night. So many people, when they're on holiday, they can't stop thinking about work. Their mind's just constantly racing. There's nothing to, everything we do just revs the system up more. It revs the system up more, and whether it's hyperstimulation or distraction or everything, or the super complexity of our lives and stress on so many levels, nothing gives us that break. And I don't think we have many powerful tools that so deliberately, at will, deals with all of that present moment tension and stress. So that's the one big thing. Now you couple that whole current experience that we all have with so much history that we haven't let go of yet, and we've never even thought of letting go. But I think, everything we do all the time is continuously affected by stuff we haven't let go of from the past. And here, TRE has this ability, these tremors, these therapeutic tremors, innately built into our body. And this is what I love so much. As much as you were facilitating me, you're just supporting the natural mechanism of the body. It's not as much an external intervention as much as it is an internal spontaneous action, and that in this brilliant advanced piece of organic technology that we live in, it has built into it this ability to discharge all of this rubbish. And yeah, to me, it's a miracle. It's truly a miracle for us to be remembering this again, which must have been a part of our past far more prominently when we were more connected to ourselves, more connected to our experience of life or our emotional experience. And I think, yeah, this is a beautiful journey of remembering that you've led us on. So yeah, I'm super grateful for it. I love being able to share it. I love experiencing it myself. It's definitely a pillar of my personal toolkit. So yeah, I hope that speaks volumes for how I feel about TRE.